Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in a Fan. I'm getting ready for bed. Quite frankly, I need to go to sleep. You know, it's so funny because these last few days I've been doing things that are quote-unquote typical of, you know, people in their 20s. You know, things like hanging out all night, going out all night, and things like that. And it's been fun, you know. And there's a part of me that thinks I'm too old for this shit. And that bothers me because I am a firm believer that age is a state of mind. I am a firm believer that age is a number. And society imposes these limiting beliefs that, well, if you're this age, this is how you're supposed to dress. And if you're this age, this is what you're supposed to be doing professionally. And if you're this age, this is how you're supposed to act around other people. And if you're this age, then this is what you're supposed to do. There is a technical term for that kind of mentality. Now pay very close attention. It's called bull fucking shit. Okay? Bull fucking shit. Whatever age you are, you need to do what you know is right. That's how I look at it. That's how I was raised. That's how I live my life. And yes, you know, the fact of the matter is that staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning is not necessarily ideal, considering, you know, that I'm waking up early in the morning to have breakfast, to meet with friends, you know, to enjoy life. But I've always been a night owl. And the fact of the matter is that even though I've learned to adapt, and there have been days that I've woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning before either meeting with a client or getting the jump on running several errands to complete them a lot earlier so that I can have more free time in the afternoon and in the evening. The fact of the matter is that regardless of your age, if you are not doing what you know you need to do, then your age is irrelevant. You know, I've met people that actually give people excuses because of their chronological age. Oh, well, this person is that age, so of course they're acting that way. Oh, well, this person is that age, so they're not supposed to do that. Really? Alright, but I'm going in a different direction with this video, and there's a specific reason why I'm making this video now. Two reasons. Number one, I completed engaging in a solitary dark moon ritual, which was very simple, very beautiful, no less powerful, no less sacred. And, you know, I must confess that I have always preferred being a solitary witch. My biggest pet peeve with group ritual is how often I hear, "Gimme! Gimme! 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 Gimme!" And I don't hear a fucking thank you. You can't say thank you to this wonderful goddess that you supposedly love and adore. Now, mind you, I'm not the world's foremost witch. I'm not the world's most powerful witch. But why can't you say thank you? It bothers me. I have this pet peeve about people that, you know, just want to ask for things. It's like, I want. There's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. But how about saying thank you? How about thanking this goddess that you supposedly love and adore, that gave birth to your soul, that has been a constant companion in your life? Well, this video is really going in a different direction. Okay, I'm going to go with it. But the purpose of this video is coming up, I promise. So, yeah, if you're going to engage in group ritual, it wouldn't hurt you to say thank you first. Now, I confess, you know, I have an issue with thanking the goddess for the trials and tribulations I've had in my life, for the physical and emotional and financial hardships that I've had in my life. I'm moving in that direction because I know that there is something that I gained from all of those hardships. And one of those things is character. And I still believe that I could receive a shit fucking load of character being incredibly wealthy and having a driver and a chef and a personal assistant and living in a mansion and owning an island and a yacht. I really believe that. The goddess is not buying it at all. Damn it. Anyway, so the purpose of this video is because I promised, and I will happily acknowledge them because they are phenomenal. Owl Moon 513, Avalon's Spiritual Odyssey, and of course my homegirl, Ember Honeyraven. I promised them that I would start making videos about some of my personal favorite decks. And it's interesting because all of them have done at least, well, Ember Honeyraven, to my knowledge, has done at least one video where she was talking about this Victorian-themed Oracle card deck. I apologize, I do not recall the name. And it's interesting because when it comes to Victorian artwork and Victorian Victorian anything, I have a sometimes I like you, sometimes I don't like you relationship. There is this wonderful catalog, this wonderful company called Victorian Trading Company. They have so many beautiful items, and they're just gorgeous, quite frankly. Some of the items are not going to fit me in this lifetime, and that's okay. And some of them are just exquisite beyond measure. The prices are not that high, which is a cool thing too. So when both Ember Honeyraven and, actually I think all three of them, I think it was Ember Honeyraven, Owl Moon 513, and Avalon Spiritual Odyssey, all three of them had talked about this particular Victorian-themed Oracle card deck. I'm going to need to put it in the comments or in the info about this video because it's bothering me that I don't remember the name of it. And I don't want to pause right now, so there you go. So from January 2010 until January 2011, I led my very first Goddess course. It was entitled Goddess Graced Guidance. Now, when I'm not teaching tarot, and when I'm not teaching someone how to work with a particular divination deck or oracle card deck, I find that when I teach a multi-class course, having a deck is very grounding. Teaching them how to use that deck is very grounding. So when I led my very first Goddess course, there was no question in my mind that I wanted to use this deck. Goddess Guidance Oracle Cards by Doreen Virtue. Now, I want to tell you, since the publication of this deck, and really since the publication of Doreen Virtue's very first Oracle card deck, Healing with the Angels Oracle Cards, she has since created and published approximately 20 Oracle card decks, a grand total of approximately 20 Oracle card decks, and thus far 4 tarot decks. And I have all of them so far. I think her most recent one is entitled Angel Answers Oracle Cards, and I love the imagery of that card. Now, one of the things that I do, because as most of you know, my username on so many different websites and social media platforms is the Tarot Man, is that I look for the card that most resonates the energy of the High Priestess. The High Priestess card is Trump 2 in the Sacred Tarot. It is, quite frankly, the card that represents the soul of so many of us who work with the Sacred Tarot. And it certainly represents mine. I have a phenomenal personal psychic advisor named Roger Pratt. I'm actually going to mention his Facebook name. Wow. I must really be tired. So on Facebook, he's Roger Pratt Tarot Seer. And I'll also include his website address in the info below. So anyway, one of the things that he said to me during a reading that I had with him a few years ago was that people see me as the Hierophant, which in Wiccan and pagan-themed tarot decks is usually renamed the High Priest. However, my soul is the High Priestess. And that makes perfect sense because in so many tarot decks, there is distinct symbology that connects the High Priestess to the ancient Egyptian goddess Osset, who is more commonly known as Isis. Lady Isis, Mother Isis. And she is the goddess who gave birth to my soul. Because yesterday, because it is after midnight, so it's no longer Saturday, September 12th, 2015, I'm wearing this dark moon pendant. However, I normally wear this beautiful pendant that is shaped in Isis's crown, and it's also set with a carnelian, which the ancients referred to as the blood of Isis. It's a beautiful pendant. You really can't, and I think the lighting could be a part of it. But before making this video, I held up this pendant to the camera. Or to the lens, and it really wasn't showing any detail. Sorry about that. Anyway, so Goddess Guidance Oracle cards remains my personal favorite of Doreen Virtue's Oracle card decks. I have currently 2 copies of it. I have this one, which I use with clients and students, and I have one that is for my exclusive use, one that I only use as I'm divinely guided. One of the things that I insisted upon in this course is that people begin to look at the cards and begin to see who that participant's celestial mother is. In other words, who is the goddess who gave birth to your soul? And the interesting thing, and one thing that I have learned through my own experiences and my own explorations into the goddess mysteries, and from the participants of that very first goddess course, is that the goddess who gave birth to your soul has always been around you and has always been with you. So it's not like you need to go looking for her. She's always there. She's always been there. If you are wondering, I invite you, and especially if you're new in your spiritual journey, in your journey to the spirit of the witch, as I've been calling it lately. If you're new to this, if you're new to being a practitioner of the art and craft of the wise, and if you're not sure who your goddess is, who your go-to goddess is, who your celestial mother is, ask her. Ask her. Ask that goddess to show herself to you. Ask that goddess to reveal herself to you. Ask her to give you clear and evident signs that she is indeed your celestial mother, that she is the goddess who gave birth to your soul. And believe me, she shall do exactly that, in spades, and hearts, and clubs, and diamonds. Anyway, so I'm not going to show you all the cards. I'm going to show you some of the cards. I'm going to show you my personal favorite cards. So, as I said a few moments ago, for me, the High Priestess card is Lady Isis, is the ancient Egyptian goddess whom was referred to as Osset, or I've been told another pronunciation is Auset. So this is one of my favorite images of her. I'm learning to do this. Bear with me. So the artist's name is Jonathan Earl Bowser, and I love this image of her. It's beautiful and powerful and sacred, and I just love her. I love her so much. Now this is a goddess who has become ever more sacred to me. Briad. She is the Irish goddess of divine inspiration, divine healing, and divine prosperity. One of my favorite which is holy days, has become Imbolc. And traditionally, Bríd or Brigid is the goddess honored during Imbolc. As some of you know, in addition to being a professional psychic and a professional metaphysical teacher, I am also an energy healing practitioner. And I have yet to meet any energy healing practitioner who does not have a close connection to this wondrous goddess. Her name is Guanxi, although her name is also pronounced Kunyan and Kuan-yin. She is the Chinese goddess of mercy, compassion, and forgiveness. And this is another goddess who has become sacred to me, especially as a writer. Her name is Sarasvati. She is also known as Sarasvati, and she is the Hindu goddess of creativity, of the arts, of eloquence, of speech, of wisdom. She is also credited with creating the 50 characters of the Sanskrit alphabet. I've come to love and adore her so much, and she has had a powerful impact in my writing, especially the writings that I create and publish on my WordPress blogs. Now, I often refer to myself as a happily recovered Catholic. I used to call myself a happily recovering Catholic. However, one of my favorite people on the planet, who has also availed herself of my psychic services, her birthday is Christmas Eve. And I kept forgetting her birthday is Christmas Eve. And I'm like, really? I would forget that somebody's birthday is Noche Buena? So I decided that after forgetting her birthday 2 years in a row, I'm no longer a happily recovering Catholic. I am a happily recovered Catholic. Ironically, I have a deeper connection to this goddess, Mother Mary, also known as Mary the Blessed Mother. And I can honestly tell you that she has given me many miracles. Miracles of healing, money miracles, peace miracles especially. I mean, there are times when I need peace and I go to her. There's a gorgeous statue of her that is a few blocks away from where I live. And it's so funny because literally 1 block away from this statue is a beautiful flower shop. And the funny thing is, the owner of the flower shop, her name literally translates as Mary Rose of Mary, like Mary Rosemary. And I'm like, that's not a coincidence. I mean, that really blew my mind. I'm looking at her name and I'm like, really? So I was like, whoa. Anyway, so I love this goddess, Ishtar. Ishtar is the Assyro-Babylonian goddess of love, beauty, sensual pleasures. She is the morning star, the powerful protectress of the day, and she is the evening star, the sacred seductress of the night. I love her. Now here's what's interesting about this card. When I first looked at the imagery of this card, I was like, there's something off about this. I didn't know what it was until I visited Jonathan Earl Bowser's website. On his website, this is part of a triptych. And the triptych features 3 powerful women, goddesses, heroines, whatever term you want to use, moments before their death. Now, I think one of the other ones is Ophelia from the Shakespearean play. And I forgot who the other one is, but it's not, I don't think it could be another Shakespearean character. But this is actually, according to Jonathan Earl Bowser, Cleopatra. And when I saw the collar and the headdress, I was like, yeah, that's more Cleopatra than Ishtar. I still look at her as Ishtar when I work with this deck. It's interesting how many people I know whose primary pantheon is the Hellenic or the ancient Greek pantheon. And this particular goddess has become very sacred to me over the years as well. Athena, the Greek goddess of war and wisdom, the Greek goddess of arts and crafts. And it is so interesting because think about it. The ancient Greeks had Ares, capital Ares, as their god of war and bloodshed. And yet they named their most beloved city, Athens, not after a god, but a goddess. Coincidence? Yeah, right. Now, I find this card fascinating, and I'll tell you why. So, this card depicts a goddess named Irene. This is the Celtic spelling of Irene. Irene is traditionally spelled capital I-R-E-N-E, and it would be pronounced Irene in Greek, or as close to Greek as I can pronounce it correctly. And yet, oh, by the way, Irene is the Greek goddess of peace. I think she was also one of, I forgot the term, the Furies, but I don't remember offhand, so please don't quote me on that. What I find interesting is that this is a Hellenic, or rather a Greco-Roman image of Lady Isis, or in this case, Mother Isis. And she's holding a baby, and she's holding two very beautiful and powerful symbols of abundant prosperity. Yes, corn and grapes in a cornucopia, in a horn of plenty. I love that image. And of course the purple, the royalty. Now, I love this goddess. I love and revere this goddess. This is a powerful goddess. You want shit done? You want to cast negativity and dysfunction, dysfunctionality or dysfunction, whatever the proper phrasing is, back to the nothingness from whence it came? Kali. Kali Ma. This is a goddess who brooks no argument. This is a goddess who is no joke. I have never been afraid of her. I revere her because she is a powerful force of change. In the Hindu pantheon, Kali, also known as Kali Ma, because she is considered a divine mother in Hinduism, she is the creatrix and the destructrix of the Hindu pantheon. She is the feminine counterpart of Shiva, who is the Hindu god of creation and destruction. I love this bitch. I love her. I revere her. And I trust her. Now, I don't mind telling you that if I ever saw an image of her live, I probably would scream like a little girl. That doesn't change the fact that she has made a huge difference in my life. Ooh, I love these three different goddesses. So, Freya, Norse goddess of the moon, of moon magic, although she's also connected to the sun, and Norse goddess of divination, Norse goddess of love, beauty, and sensual pleasures, and she is the queen of the Valkyries. She is powerful, and she is yet another goddess whose sacred day of the week is Friday. And in fact, if you think about it, Friday was once known as Freya's Day. And personally, I love that her name here is spelled with a J. I think it's cool. The traditional transliteration, by the way, is capital F-R-Y-A. So in some of my emails to the participants of my very second goddess course, Goddess to the Next Level, I've been using that to honor Freya on a Friday. Sekhmet, the ancient Egyptian lioness-headed goddess of magic, prophecy, carnal lust, healing, and the scorching heat of the sun. I often say that Isis gave birth to my soul. She gave birth to my body. And I say this especially because in Western astrology, my rising sign is Leo. Now, my sun sign is Capricorn. My birthday is January 8th. You know, I gotta admit, I find it hard to believe people forget my birthday. Because I'm like, really? You never heard of somebody named Elvis? And you forgot my birthday? I don't see what the mystery is. Anyway. So Sekhmet gave birth to my body. And if you think about it, if you look at me, just from, here to here, do I look like a goat or do I look like a lion? Abundancia. Her name literally means abundance. She is one of many ancient Roman goddesses of abundance, of prosperity, of wealth, of plenty. The ancient Romans had a lot of goddesses of wealth. Abundancia, Bonadea, Fortuna, and of course Juno Moneta, who gave us the word money, as in moneda. In ancient Rome, Juno's temples, hold on, I'm saying this totally incorrectly, I apologize. In ancient Rome, the vaults were located underneath Juno Moneta's temples. Now I said it correctly. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So, a few more, of course. I have 3 feline daughters. I love Bast. I often refer to her as Bastet. Bastet is the ancient Egyptian cat-headed goddess of music, drama, as in ritual drama, play drama, musical drama, not the drama, trauma, melodrama of somebody's bullshit. And she is also a goddess of fertility. And of course, she is the mother of all cats. I love her. I adore her. And if you have a cat, you need to venerate Bastet. You just do. It's like, for me, it's like, if you are a witch, you need to honor a witch goddess. If you have an affinity with horses, you need to honor Epona, who is a continental Celtic goddess of horses and of the lands. If you are somebody who loves dogs, then you need to honor a goddess whose animal familiar is dogs. For example, Hecate, the Greek goddess of magic and prophecy in the crossroads. It makes sense to me. Now, mind you, I'm not here to say, well, you better do this or else. Because, well, really. Of course, I love this goddess. Mr. Prosperity loves and adores this goddess. Lakshmi, Lakshmi, Lakshmi. Oh, I love her so much. I love her. She is the Hindu goddess of wealth and opulence. Now, I know some people want to say that she's the Hindu goddess of spiritual abundance and spiritual prosperity. Get over your bullshit about money. We live in a society where we need to use money. I don't see what the mystery is. People have this aversion to money. One of my favorite passages from Louise L. Hay's Receiving Prosperity lecture is when she said, money is as spiritual as a rose. And it is. If you physically or emotionally abuse someone in your life, whether it is a parent or a child or an animal or a lover, they're not going to be around you too much longer. If you call your money filthy lucre or a pain or a hardship, why would your money want to stay around? See, I'm not a relationship expert by any means. I'm not. But there are some things that are not just common sense, they're divine truths. See, I don't hate my money. I love my money. I bless it with love and light because that money is helping me. It's helping me pay my bills. It's helping me go from point A to point B. It's helping me provide for the people that I serve. It's helping me do what I need to do so that I have as few worries as possible. Nobody should have to worry about, am I going to lose my home? Nobody should have to worry about, am I going to lose my job? Nobody should have to worry about, is my electricity going to be cut off again? Nobody should have to worry about any of that nonsense. So, we need to really stop having this aversion to money. Because unless you're going to live in a society where the barter system is exclusively used, you need to have money. When I get on a bus or a train, they don't look at me and say, oh, well, you're Robert Alvarez, a psychic witch, you can ride for free. No, they don't do that. They look at me and they're like, okay, insert the MetroCard, please. They don't need to say that, but they know I'm not getting a free ride. Why? Because I'm not getting a free ride. I get on that bus, I get on that subway, I get into that taxi, whatever it is, and they expect to be paid. And guess what? I pay them. So, so we need to have money. We live in a society where money is important. Okay, so one more card, and yes, my favorite Welsh goddess, Rhiannon. Yes. And of course, my favorite Welsh witch, Stevie Nicks, wrote a song about her. I love this goddess, and I will tell you something about her that I love sharing with people. So, Rhiannon rides a white female horse at night. So that means that her horse is her nightmare. I bet some of you were like, oh shit! And some of you were like, I never thought about that. Let me check that out. But yeah, because a female horse is called a mare, and if she only rides this horse at night, then it is her nightmare. Interestingly enough, a little personal thing about me, I've almost never had nightmares. I've almost never had nightmares. And to me, a nightmare is not an ill portend or an ill omen of something bad going to happen in my life. No, to me a nightmare is my subconscious mind saying, Robert, you need to pay attention to this right the fuck now. Wake up. That's what it's telling me. And yeah, now I'm realizing why I almost never have nightmares. Okay. So thank you very much, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, fellow witches, pagans, Wiccans, and those of you on a spiritual path or not, and those of you who simply love and adore me because I'm Robert Alvarez, for watching this video. Thank you for your patience in having me make these videos, and I wish you many blessings, and I really need to get my ass to bed. But I need to do one or two more things before I do that. Anyway, thank you very much. I wish you and yours many, many blessings. Until next time.